Girls now have a career in sport and can play sport. Now, who's doing that correlation? I don't know.
A huge opportunity is what I'm hearing. But what are other countries doing well?
So sitting in the US, you think every man and woman on the street in Bangalore is tech. Because you only meet IT engineers in the US, you think everybody in India is IT engineer. It's like you only see US gold medalists, you think everybody in the US is fit.
Sports schools and schools that focus on using the 10 years that the child is there to then sort of define a career or a path.
Education is also a state subject. So the state needs to decide whether they want to apply this or not.
Finally, it takes only that one or two athletes to create that little village around them, no?
There is this narrative that education and sports are like opposite. If you play, your acads will suffer. If you are studying, you can't play sport.
Today's episode of Small Talk is a lovely intersection of work and play. And the focus is on sports and the various career opportunities that it brings up in the world today. I've always had an avid interest in numerous sports, and what intrigues me further as a coach is the athlete, what goes on in the mind of the athlete, and the ecosystem that must arrive not just on game day but on every day of the year to support that athlete. Today we invite Saumil Majmudar and Deepthi Bopaiah. Saumil is the co-founder and CEO of Sports Village, one of India's best-known organizations working at the school, sport and participation layer, helping children get more consistent access to sport and physical education at scale. He is also closely associated with the Get Kids to Play movement, which brings together schools, educators, and partners across cities. Deepthi Bopaiah has spent years building pathways for Indian athletes through GoSports Foundation, where she served as the CEO, working at the intersection of talent development, high performance ecosystems, and the often invisible support systems behind sporting excellence. She's worked closely with academies, partners, and practitioners who make performance possible far beyond what we see on game day. Through GoSports, they have supported the journeys of over 70 Olympian and Paralympian athletes. And I'm Subha Chandrasekaran, Leadership and Career Growth Coach.
And I'm Hasita. I'm a brand consultant and co-founder at Motley Group.
Hi Deepthi, hi Saumil, welcome to Small Talk. Thank you so much for your time today. Looking forward to a very sporty afternoon.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. I think maybe we'll just start with asking you to introduce yourself. Usually we do this formal interview, but just to see how you are defining everything that you do.
I'm starting.
Yeah.
We just get kids to play.
How did that become your calling?
Calling is a big word. I think serendipity, and now it's getting into career decisions and so on. I think serendipity doesn't get enough credit in life decisions as
So
it
true,
should.
actually, yeah.
I think strategy is overrated, serendipity is underappreciated. And so it's completely serendipitous. I come from a tech MBA kind of background, had a tech startup back in 1999-2000, was in the US for some time. I came back in 2003 and I was looking at ideas. Like this in a conference room with a whiteboard, I was throwing ideas with a friend of mine. I was thinking of tech ideas. Your self-image that time was a tech entrepreneur.
But there was an entrepreneurial streak to you.
Entrepreneur was there. And nothing was kind of really working. As we're leaving the room, my friend Jay, he said, "Look, I'm very worried about my son. And I've been sporty all my life and so on." I said, "What happened?" He said, "Khelta nahi hai. He doesn't play." I was like, "Okay, why not?" He said, "There's no space to play. There's a main road outside my house. The playgrounds are unsafe. There are broken bottles. I don't know who's floating around." So I didn't have kids at the time. I said, "Okay, so what should we do?" So he said, "Bangalore has all these 60-40 plots lying idle. All garbage on it. Why don't you just clean that up, level it, put some grass on it, and ask people for some money, and kids can come and play in the evenings." So I was like, interesting. Maybe that's the model I was looking for. And suddenly when Excel sheet happened, in Excel sheet we are millionaires in a few months. And anyway, that's how Sports Village got started. We started out as a noun, as a place. We had a
Okay,
place in
okay.
HSR out in 2003
Got it.
as a safe place for kids to play. That we thought would be the model.
Hmm.
We can talk through the evolution, but that's how we started, to your point of how it all started.
Got it. Got it. Lovely. And so, how big is Sports Village today?
So we get around, ours is a program. So we work with 600 odd schools, 3 lakh kids throughout the year. Ours is not an event based model. So throughout the year, we cover 6 lakh kids. A team of around 1100 people who actually execute our program, curriculum, assessment, technology in schools across the country. 350 odd private schools, 250 odd government schools. We also have presence in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and now Saudi.
Oh, wow. Okay. And Deepthi?
I think from the time I was born, for us, it's been sport. I come from Coorg, and I've seen my parents, my grandparents, everybody. There is just sport everywhere, all around
What kind
us.
of sports?
So, in fact, mom was a hockey player and a mountaineer. And dad was a tennis player, like obsessed with tennis. So that's why I think we got into tennis. And in fact, mom and dad play tennis till date, every day in the morning in the club. So we have no excuses on, that, oh, no, there's no time and stuff. So I think just growing up, conversations have always been about, you study, you don't have to be the first rank person, but you have to move and you have to play. And given that lots of our holidays were back in Coorg and Mysore, where my grandparents were, it was always the outdoors. So in fact, I remember in school, the library card to read books, I would always give it to a friend. I never read that much at all because we were always playing sports. So I don't know of a world
Without
actual movement more than anything
yeah,
else, or playing a competitive sport. So for me, running, cycling, all that is very tough. Like, I don't know how a lot of people do it. I like a game, an active physical sport.
Got it. But then you spent some time in banking and kind of came back to this.
Yeah. So for me, it was, I don't think when I was in school, I thought I can be an athlete. That whole concept of being an athlete, even today in schools, is not very common. Nobody spoke to you about being an Olympian and a Paralympian, and role models were used. We still talk about PT Usha in our books, right? Which is great, but there's so many other champions that have come. So I feel like, one, you have to also know your own capabilities, as you're not that great at, and also the kind of money you need for tennis is ridiculous. And you travel all the way, take a train, go there, day 1, day 2, you've lost, and then you have to wait till everybody else finishes and then come back, right? So it's a lot of funding that you needed, and it continues to be the case even today. But I think for me, at some point, my parents sat me down and said, so what are you going to do? This cannot, obviously be something you can keep doing. So you better focus on your studies. But throughout growing up, it was about, you play sport, studies, as long as you pass, it's enough. So everywhere I was just like passed. But I think playing 2 sports, I played basketball for the Karnataka University and tennis for the state. So dabbling in 2 sports, a team sport and a individual sport, I think the amount of learning that I got in that period of who went on to make it, who did not make it, right? Some of us did not make it. We fell off the system
Very quietly.
and more fall off than actually go further. So I think that whole process was there somewhere at the back of my mind. But when I went to the bank, it was more about, I love what I'm doing, and I really, but every 18 months you could move roles, right?
Yes,
so every 18 months I'd sit in front of my boss and say, what next? What next? Like, I just felt like it's great, but it's something's missing here. So I moved from wealth to training. I did a training stint because I got to travel and I got to meet so many people, and I had to learn a lot and really study. I think all the studying I didn't do growing up, I did in the bank for that training role. And then 2012 Olympics for me kind of changed a lot of things, and I was like, just the conversations on media and everyone saying, we don't have it, we can't do it. India, we keep sending a team, we waste sending a team, and we don't do anything for our athletes, but we want them to come back with medals. And then I met Abhishek, Lakshminarayan, our trustee, and Nandan, and they were fascinating, amazing people who've actually thought about setting up an organization like this, which for me in itself was wow, you know, this is amazing. Someone's actually thought about not complaining and set up something like this. So for me, just being able to work with them was really exciting as an opportunity. But moving from the bank was a big decision, right?
sure.
Because they're like, why don't you do volunteering and
Weekend pick.
weekend pay?
Yeah.
And so 3 times I actually quit before my bosses agreed to finally let me go. And I'm very grateful for that because it gave me more time to really think. And I gave myself 1 year. If I can't do it in 1 year, then I have to go back to the bank. But then there was no turning back. 13 years and I loved it.
Lovely, lovely. So I think a trigger for us to even get into what's happening in the world of sport and careers in sport is at least we see a lot more of parents and children taking up a wide range of sports. But is it a very elite thing now? How much of it is kind of trickling down to all kinds of schools and kids? Is it like a privileged thing? Because golf, tennis, it needs money, right?
I think there are two parts to it. Obviously, if you have the privilege and the funding, you have more opportunities and better places and spaces and safe spaces to train. But in sport, it's initially up to 13 years, it's about movement. And we typically say, and Saumil will be better to share about this, where you should be able to jump, to hop, to skip, to do the basic movements. Today, young kids are struggling. They can't even throw, right? That's because we're not doing the basic things and we're trying early specialization. You want your child to become a world champion by 12, 13. Their body itself is not developed to that extent. So playing 2 3 sports is probably very good and then deciding specialization. But unless you're in like gymnastics or something where you really start when you're 4 5 6, all other sports, in fact, you look at any top athlete in the world, everybody has played more than 2 sports growing up.
Yeah, and they've chosen one that
Yeah, so
they really
that
like.
luxury is there for the elite, but they kind of choose one because they feel, oh, my kid is so good and let me play in that. But kids in rural India are just playing. They're kicking, they're throwing, they're jumping, they're doing all of that. So you see a lot more talent if nurtured, and if that pathway is there, you'll get them from there. But because they don't get that attention, then you need projects like his, which is actually going to these schools and government schools. So many kids just need a direction and a pathway. So I think privilege has its benefits, but are we doing too much too early?
Or
Is a
rather,
constant
that
question.
privilege may also be
Detrimental in some ways
in
without
some
you
ways.
knowing.
You're too many options, or you're throwing money at something and
No, and
pushing
you
a
want
child.
to be a champion, no? I
Yeah.
mean, I keep saying this in education. We wait from first standard to 10th standard, and then 10th standard you graduate. In sport, you put them for like 2 months, and then you're like, you've not won a medal, you've not won a competition. 2 months, they've just held the rack, they've just about learned what to do in that sport. So I think the anticipation in sport is like you'll become a champion, but it's so tough. You need 8, 10, 15 years to even get to the Olympics.
It resonates with when we were speaking to a Bharatnatyam guru. Then the parent is like, when can they do Arangetram? When can they do? But it takes 10, 12 years, and then also the guru may say, you're not yet ready to put you up on that stage, right? So it takes that much time.
And all art forms and anything that you're kind of pushing human potential takes time, right? What you look at anything, whether it's art, dance, music, it's built in that manner. Unless you're a prodigy and you're exceptional, but that is hardly
one in a million.
Statistically,
So
Saumil, this what you were saying about movement, and I happened to be reading about it because of the Winter Olympics, and everywhere it's about how Norway just lets their children play, and you don't get a medal till you're 13 or right. How is it in schools in India? What are they doing right, and maybe the other list is longer. What do we need to do better?
So that's a big question. I think, let's see what they're doing, right? I think the structure exists. Physical education is mandatory.
Yeah.
Having a PE teacher with a degree is mandatory. Having space is mandatory. So all the what I call policy checklists for a basic getting kids to just play, run around exist. Issue is not policy. Issue is what happens when those 40 kids come out for those 40 minutes. And that's where the model breaks. What happens typically is a ball gets thrown at 35, 40 kids. So 5 of you are good, play. Remaining 35 are sitting and saying, sport is not for me. Right? It's like, so this fundamental distinction we try to make is between coaching and teaching.
Yeah.
Imagine learning Shakespeare by being given Shakespeare books in kindergarten or first standard. Now, some of you might have had exposure at home, you'll figure it out.
Correct. Correct.
Those who don't are like, English is not for me.
Yeah.
The problem is not on English.
Yeah.
Problem was on the teaching pedagogy.
Correct.
Right?
We're not
Coaching-
giving it the time at all that it
Yeah,
needs.
and so coaching assumes that you are motivated. You might or might not be talented, but you're motivated to keep getting better. And if I throw exercise at you, you'll do it. Show up at 5 in the morning, she'll show up. And she'll show up the next day also. Teaching assumes you're not motivated. How do I now motivate you to show up at 5 in the morning? You see, it's a very different program.
It's not an internal driver, right?
Right?
Yeah.
So,
You know
so when
what
35, 40 kids are there, out of 40 kids, 35 don't have the internal motivation.
Yeah.
What should I do as a coach, as a PE teacher? Should I focus on the 5 kids? Should I focus on the remaining 35 kids? Now, if you think of education, education's goal is to reduce the gap between the top and the bottom. Which means if you are good in math and I'm not good, teachers should spend time with me.
Yeah.
In sport, the flip happens. The gap increases. So fundamentally, the structure is sports is part of education. But the implementation is a coaching elite performance implementation. Right? And that has to change. That teaching has to get the teaching a game and what she referred to, right?
Yeah.
And we see it all the time. Kids don't know how to catch a ball and throw a ball and don't know how to run properly. And then the kids are put into a basketball in the evening. How will the kid enjoy it?
And they're also judged
Yeah.
immediately.
So then they come back and say, I don't want to play. The problem was not in the sport, problem was in the way it was introduced.
That it was not play at all.
Yeah. You'll say you're not a native English speaker. How should I teach you? Has to be different from somebody who's a native English speaker. I can't use the same. So the teaching approach that's required is very often missing in sport because sport, the overall word you'll hear is coach.
Yeah.
But for scale, and in India, education has shown that you can educate at scale. Now, you can have a quality issue, but quantity we solved.
Correct.
At least primary, 97% enrollment and so on, right? We solved the quantity side. We have, ASA report tells you PE periods and all that. Probably we don't have PE teachers.
Yeah.
So if you think about two axes, right? One is this urban-rural and maybe professional and just play for fun. The professional side gets a lot of attention both from a CSR perspective because it's easy for me to say she won a medal.
Correct.
It's difficult for me to say 2 lakh kids played, they had fun,
Huh.
they're all better leaders.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Right.
what do I show?
Correct. Correct.
So the problem is the adult world
Yeah.
needs something to show. Adult world needs proof that play is good for kids. But every adult you speak to, they say, yeah, of course play is good for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one denies that at all.
And I am like, in the last 23 years, I've not met a single adult who said play is not happening, should not happen. But still kids are not playing.
No, also I'm thinking because we all accept that it's a good thing, then there's no conversation there, right? There's no funding conversation. There's no how many are getting left out. If we all agree that it's a good thing, then yeah, they'll figure it out. I mean, they're children, right?
That's
They're
a great
supposed
point. That's the problem. The kids have nobody speaking for them. Take an apartment complex, take a stadium, take anywhere. They are not at a table.
Correct.
All adults are deciding. Kids are not even at a table. They're not even being asked.
Yeah.
Take your apartment complex usage of space. They're not even being asked.
It's a strange problem that, with longevity, it's the senior citizen who's saying, oh, but they're making noise.
Yeah.
In the free space that you have
Yes,
given
yes.
them to make noise.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Two things are happening in Bangalore, especially across the country. playgrounds are becoming walking parks. Walking parks have boards saying no cycling, no running.
Yeah.
And the ball shouldn't hit you if you're walking. But
Yeah.
I mean, that.
Apartment complexes like the one I stay in, there's an inner block and outer block. And of course, kids are playing football, the ball flies.
Correct.
So, and I mean, they're right, see, that somebody can get hurt. So, what we did was we enclosed the entire place with a
The
net.
net.
The solution is not very difficult to do.
Correct.
The problem was nobody was trying to solve it. The solution was kids don't play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we also need to figure out who is the stakeholder who cares enough to fight that battle enough.
Yeah.
And when kids ask the question, it's seen as rude because it happened in our context. Right? It's seen as, oh, you are not listening to elders. The kids are saying, look, I need to play now. What do I do? Right?
No, and you're saying don't be on your phones. I'm going down to play. And now you're saying don't play also. So it's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Learn to play silently.
And then not to mention every time someone wins something, we point and say, why can't you be like them?
Correct.
Also. That
Yeah.
also is a, yeah.
No, but that's a cultural thing. Only when you win, everyone wants that. The process, nobody thinks of it as
Absolutely.
a valuable thing. Like I'm sure for Saumil, me, and everybody or anyone who's played sport, you also dive and you'll have a process, right? If you go back to anything in life, you actually become an athlete, right?
Yeah, it's a becoming.
It's
You're
like,
very right. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
now this is my goal. This is what I'll do. This is you just. It's so
Correct. There's a
structured.
process to it. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I was recently. I just came back from a Vipassana. I thought I'll try it, and yeah, I did that. But I just went into athlete mode because I've got up at 4 a.m. in the morning in the past. That was not the
Meditation
scary.
is a target, huh?
No, I just wanted like to see what is Vipassana? Can I actually last it? And I lasted.
Because there are some horror stories
It's a
there.
10-day one,
Yeah.
right?
It's a
The first one
10-day
has to be 10 days,
silence
huh?
thing, and I love to talk, as you can see. So that, the talking is like noble silence. But when I came back and I reflected, I actually went into an athlete mode because I was like, okay, this is your wake up time, this is your sleep time. In between, you're going to have session, 10.5 hours of meditation, right? Just sitting with yourself. Okay, that's another topic. But I'm just saying, for me, everything that you do and you kind of deal with, the life skills that you learn through sport. And that has happened because of school and college, not because of competitive playing. It happened because you had to manage school, then have your snack quickly, and then you have to run to go play your sport. Then maybe you have tuitions. Like we'd leave home at like 8 a.m. and come back at 8 p.m. That time.
Correct.
Right? And so I think it builds you to face the world. And there's also data that shows that I think more than 70% of the leadership of Fortune 500 companies, women, are people who've played sport growing up. That's a huge data point, right?
Yeah.
For young girls.
Correct.
Because you have to be a leader, even if it's in your group team game, and that helps you
Correct.
There's something transitive.
something. Right? So
You need to just distinguish because sport as a career versus playing sport as kids are completely unrelated. All of us learned history and biology. None of us, I presume, are historians or biologists.
Correct.
So what you study growing up,
Yeah.
because it's part of education and so on, has nothing to do with that as a career.
Correct.
We're not having discussion about biology as a career, right?
Correct.
But we all learning. All our kids are learning biology.
Correct. Correct.
So there is a need to take away this career play and career connection that is so inbuilt in sport.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I liked what you said about scale, that nobody says, oh, I enabled 300 kids to just play. But when you come, for a job interview, for, even a college interview, you'll see every applicant mentions whatever sport that they've played, right? And you're asking them, okay, what did that teach you? What leadership skill? How did, tell me how you were a team player because of that sport. And you want all those learnings and those lessons to kind of emerge. But if, let's say, that person had chosen to kind of go deeper in that sport, you want a medal also immediately to support them, to get CSR and all of that, right? So there's such a dichotomy in how we're approaching.
because I think what Saumil rightly mentioned, it's actually 3 phases of your life, right? One is just to be able to do basic things, what a healthy human being, a young child should be able to do. That is the first phase. That is a completely different problem we are facing today because everything's given to your hand, you're not really moving, you're not doing anything, right? So that's a completely different. Then how are you introduced to sport? Do you fall in love with sport? A lot of us stayed in sport because there was something about it which made you love it, right? Today we are seeing it as PP period, go play. And invariably, your math teacher, your geography teacher, somebody will take that thing because they have never finished their portions or whatever, right? He's laughing, yeah. So, where have you played? So, the thing is, how do I even fall in love with the game? And then the 2, 3 whose parents have fought and got permissions and done it, if they go and start playing state, then they'll be like, but you've not won anything. You've gone for 10 competitions. I've given you leave. Exams you've missed. The entire school has to prepare so much for one person, which is a lot of it is changing, right? Because schools are seeing the value of it. But unless it doesn't become marks for sport, which is a debate, I think 10 years we have been talking about it. And now the education policy has marks for sport.
Okay, you treat it as a subject.
Yeah, and just like how you play, have math for 200 hours, you have to have sport for 200 hours. But education is also a state subject. So the state needs to decide whether they want to apply this or not.
Yeah, correct.
So, which is why now many states have not taken it up.
Correct.
Otherwise, the policy level is actually thought of it brilliantly.
Yeah.
If it can get applied and if people can actually say, okay, 200 hours of sport, it'll be a game changer, right? Because look at the numbers that we have. We keep saying 1.4 billion people, we have only this many medals, but where are you teaching those billion people to actually move? So I think it's phases. So even careers, since a large part of this discussion is about careers, I never thought I'll be a sports administrator. No way. I didn't even know that existed. I didn't know that is a job worth doing also. Right? It just happened along the way because we only know athlete, coach and team manager. And that manager, you would always think is doing 100 other things, right? They only are figuring out that they're the doctor, they're this, they're that, they're everything along with the coach. So what is the role of an administrator is a very, very new concept. And even today, our sports education, sports management, all of that is only teaching you events, event management, leagues, brand, talent management. It is not teaching you administration.
It's following the money basically, right? It's where the...
That's a good point. I think you're right. I think the more visible part of sport is the IPLs of the world, the leagues of the world and all that. And that industry by structure is event driven.
Yeah.
Right? So if take an IPL team, which you might have better numbers, but I know from earlier, you will probably have 3-4 people for a whole year, then 200 people like a few days before IPL, and then they'll all go away. Then again 3-4 people.
And then no jobs for them.
So, right? So
what do you do the rest of the year?
How do you build given your context, how do you build an organization? What culture do you have when every event there are 200 new people showing up? Right? So therefore from a career point of view, so because the industry is event driven, the career opportunities become gig.
Correct.
Only the industry has an annuity model. Can you have career opportunity with annuity?
That happens.
And the only model that we found, and I think we need to find more, is education. Only in education could I afford to hire team full time. So one of the first questions people always ask me is, are these people full time with you? And I'm like, yes. Like, how?
It's through the
because the default is event. So if you have an event, how will you afford to keep people on your rolls all the time? You can't. Only when you have a year-round model. Right? Either through the event education, where fees are coming either from government or from parents or from a CSR donor, or you have a program like the work that she did at GoSports, where there's throughout the year funding for it. Only then can you have throughout the year employment. So the funding model is going to dictate the career model.
Correct. No, and I think, to a large extent, it will always follow the money, that's a given. But tell me, now that we have so many different sports and leagues, right? You have like from kabaddi to, you have always had football clubs and you have so many IPL or cricket leagues and cricket. What are some of those things that are fungible, that somebody can build longevity in and not be so event based? Is there?
Let me take a shot at it. See, every event at the end of the day, if at a black box level, the event is similar. The scale might be different. There might be a TV angle to it, but at a black box level, the event is similar. From event management to hospitality to
Yeah.
fan engagement to broadcast and so on, right? Or social media amplification. So those, and end of the day, it's a business, and all businesses need the same thing. They need you to help revenue. They need you to help reduce cost. They need to help get
Yeah.
more. So finally, those things are fungible. The issue is at every point, what people need to be ready with at the professional side is the gig nature of the model.
It's still gig because it's still not
Because the
so
industry-
common and so
No,
often.
the industry is like that. It's not going to change. See, I finish IPL, and then let's say a pickleball league happens, then a tennis league happens, then a ISL happens. I have to go one by one. No, the decision making is not the same.
Yeah. You have to go and get
And
contracted
different
for
owners,
each.
Yeah.
different
Correct.
At every point,
approaches.
she'll say I
Yeah.
played tennis, so she'll get a tennis. Obviously,
Yeah.
now I'm competing with her for tennis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody else will be a kabaddi guy.
Yeah.
So domain knowledge. So there are vertical domain knowledge for that sport, and there's a horizontal, which is like marketing, finance, event management, logistics, all that.
Correct.
Which is horizontal. That is fungible.
Yeah.
But the roles are not fungible. You
Yeah.
see your point?
Yeah, because ideally there should be like a sports technician
Yeah.
who is employed
Across.
Yeah,
Across.
so that is actually changing now because earlier there was no concept of having a physio in your team,
Yeah.
a sports medicine doctor in your team, a data analyst in your team.
Correct.
But today every professional team has it, and some of the things that we also fund at the foundation, right, for athletes is okay. The government has now started giving you a lot of money, but there are certain areas they can't send a physio throughout. So there is a physio that's attached to the top athletes, right, where they get that thing. So every league today has a bench now of all these 4-5 different people who are technically very sound. But because there are such few of them, the costs that you end up paying is ridiculous.
few in the sense your supply is low.
Supply is very low in terms of that capability and
Capability.
caliber to work with an elite
Yeah, so you
athlete.
only want that then. Then you
Correct.
don't want
Then
anybody
I-
in the middle.
Correct.
So you have that, and you have the school PE
Yeah.
teachers
Yeah.
in which is in terms of numbers
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. And they do everything. They do all these
Yeah.
roles, right?
Yeah.
So I think in between is the opportunity
Yeah,
that lies
then
for
there's a huge
careers.
opportunity there.
The way to think about this, since it's a career talk, there's a managerial role, which is your event management. It's all managerial. She's referred to very technical roles.
Correct.
You better be a
Yeah.
certified sports
Yeah.
injury specialist and so on. That's a very technical role. The career paths are very different.
Correct.
Hmm.
It's like, I don't know, in IT, it's like saying you're a Java coder, you're
Yeah.
a this, you're a that. You've
Yeah.
got those technical skills which are,
Yes and no. Some of these things require prerequisites from a sport point of view.
It does, but then
Yeah.
I feel like now, because so many leagues have started and so many events have started, they are also experimenting with freshers, right? With a lot of mentorship and a lot of different things. Because some of the teams who are just starting off leagues, they are only losing money. Nobody's making money, right? Only very few leagues in the country are actually making money. So there is an opportunity for technical stuff. So sometimes we meet a lot of doctors who say, "Oh, I love sport. I want to be involved." I'm like, then we need sports medicine doctors. We struggle to have. We go to physicians who don't fully understand doping as an issue, and we struggle in those things. So I keep saying, when you think about careers in sport, it's not about immediately from graduation you come.
yeah.
We all have got the benefit of working in corporate, understanding the real world, and then applying it to sport. So I feel at an administration, entrepreneurship level, somebody who's done something else and coming into sport and applying, I feel will be far more valuable to the ecosystem right now. 2036 goal of Olympics and Paralympics, we need youngsters picking it, because next 10 years we need administrators. We need like at least 1,000 administrators to be ready to handle. You're going to have 10,000 athletes, and there you can get volunteers. And India, we can host the event. I feel personally we can do it, but is it being done with the right team, or are we dependent on external volunteers to come in rather than we being self-sufficient? And do you even know what it takes to be with an athlete to get them in that phase, right? So I think it's very layered in sport. If you look at like talent management on the other side, like if I represent an athlete, you'll see people working in that space for 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, because I've built this relationship. I know this
Yeah.
person, and I will represent you for deals. We're not yet there.
Correct.
Very few athletes get that.
Yeah.
You know, people see Jerry Maguire and
I was
all
just
of
going to
that,
say.
and I will do that. Nobody sitting on the other side to hear your story about how cool this athlete is, especially on the sponsorship side. Right? There are very few. Like Neeraj Chopra was great even before he won the medal. There were no sponsors and endorsements.
Correct.
Today he's overflowing with it, right?
Yeah.
A couple of generations will be taken care of. Sindhu,
Yeah.
Saina, Deepa, like all these names.
Correct.
But it's still not a full-fledged career. You can't fully make money out of only talent
Only
management.
talent, yeah.
Most talent management companies have now 50 athletes or 80 athletes because they're like, okay, someone will get
something will
something.
It's a lot
click
like
and-
venture
They make money from
capital. I'm
Bollywood.
realizing in that
And the
sense,
money they
right?
make is from Bollywood.
Yeah.
So
No, like she said, it's a lot like venture capital.
Yeah.
You know, one
You're
or two.
investing in a startup on some
Absolutely.
level. And,
That has been my pitch at GoSports. You know, to any donor, I've said, this is like a VC fund. We are going to pick 200 athletes. 2 might actually make it, right? And the others will be good citizens of this country who are fit and healthy.
Yeah.
If you're okay with that combination, then you can
think
participate.
a lot
think
more
also
than that, no?
Yeah, and they are influencers, I'm sure, in their own right, if nothing else. And
Yeah.
they're also probably going to end up contributing to the ecosystem in
they-
other ways. If not.
multiple ways. Like you know, I love saying this story about someone like a Rani Rampal. She was India's hockey captain, and she is actually a daughter of a cart puller in Haryana. And Haryana's the male female ratio and female infanticide is like crazy, the rate, and girls were not allowed to play and no hockey. And but her father supported her family supported her, and I think in 15 years now they've seen that ratio go up because girls now have a career in sport and can play sport. Now who's doing that correlation, I don't know, right?
Yeah. No, culture is
But
never that.
culture of
yeah.
letting a female your daughter go and play sport in a place like Haryana. And if you see that particular region, Shabad has produced the highest number of athletes who've gone on to the Indian team. So there's something there, right?
Something there. Correct.
Which has changed. So these are things of sport nobody is talking about. These kind of incredible stuff that has happened. I mean, I have lots of stories, and I'll digress on that. But this
we
is
love the stories. No, but it's finally it takes only that 1 or 2 athletes to create that little village around them, no? And then you need one,
one role model.
one role model, right? Like whether it was Prakash Padukone or then later the generation that followed.
Absolutely.
Everybody then said, okay, badminton is a possibility, and then flocked to it.
you need to think at scale also. When you think employment and career, you have to go, like, I think Olympic contingent was 550 people, 600 people.
130. India. Yeah.
This
There you
is
go.
Paris.
130. Maybe my data is wrong. 25 crore kids go to school.
Yeah. That's
Do the
what's-
math.
Correct.
Khelo India has 5,000 or 6,000 kids. So
Which is
let's
what
say,
we've
let's say
been
each,
saying.
each produces eight jobs, 50,000 jobs.
Yeah.
So, we need to have a different view of the industry. We can't be thinking in thousands.
Yeah.
And that model, is it preventive health that will create that
Yeah.
model?
Yeah.
Is it education, which is what we are trying? That improve the PE because there's already some funding happening. We need those models to show up. Otherwise, this will remain a very exciting, very sexy.
Yeah.
Oh, people think sports, matlab you're going to hobnob with Shah Rukh Khan and Preeti Zinta and all that. But the actual work is like a normal any other business.
Correct.
Right? And the opportunities by definition are limited. Unless the model shifts, is the way I see it.
No, I mean, I partly agree with Saumil because what he has been able to do is get into the education space. But if it becomes a health issue of our country, where our Ministry of Health gets involved with Ministry of Education, because young kids are diabetic today.
Yeah.
Young kids are, the country is going to, we have the youngest population in the world, but if you're going to be unfit and you're not, so it's a big problem that is going to hit us at some point, right? In the next decade. And next decade, you want to host the Olympics. So I feel that conversation between ministries and then coming up with, hey, you know what? these are some of the things that we can do for our children. And these who are really good, you have a top scheme, which is a Target Olympic Podium scheme. You have the Khelo India now. So the kids who are good will get filtered into these schemes.
Yeah.
But that can't be the standard program for the
Yeah.
million kids that are there waiting to enjoy and even just learn to move and play sport.
Yeah, but the vision of it is so beautiful, right? To say in 10 years we become the hosts of the Olympics, but by then, how much of the world has it influenced, right? Like 1 billion people have been, impacted by that universe, and it's not a sport or it's not an event that's taking place. And I would hope that that's maybe that's too idealistic, perhaps.
I
That's
think
called the legacy effect.
Yeah.
We should look at it.
yeah. And again, are we ready for that? There are enough debates happening on is India ready for the Olympics? Because many of the other countries that have hosted are continue to be in debt for many years.
That is there.
And also it is the games of the country, and what is it teaching our young children and the general population, because Olympic values are incredible, right? It is about being the best version of yourself. It's about excellence, team sport, friendship. So it can't be a economic decision only. It's something larger, and Abhinav Bindra speaks about it really well, that it's an ongoing thing. The Olympics is a start, and then you become one of the countries that have hosted. And it's not easy to just get the games. I mean, it's a long process, and many of our Asian countries are in the bid to get it.
Correct.
But we got the Commonwealth Games, which also is an opportunity, right? If you do that well and you host that well, then something. So you need people for all of this. You need people, and
There's a
everyone's
huge,
struggling.
there's a huge opportunity is what I'm hearing. But what are other countries doing well? I mean, they're a lot more advanced into how many years they've kind of invested in sport compared to us. But what are we doing? What do we need to copy from whom? Because that we're good at.
So let me take a shot.
Yeah,
So
please.
I was gone. The Aspen Institute has this project play in the US. I got invited to speak there, and their issue. By the way, that's interesting data. I think a month ago, US Congress had a hearing on the growing kids dropping out of sport,
Okay.
on prices increasing youth sport, and stress and pressure on kids. It reached the Congress, and of course obesity. And so if you think of US as a sporting country,
Yeah.
and I hear that in Indian conversation a lot, it's broken. You don't want to copy that model. What happens is almost like saying, sitting in the US, you think every man and woman on the street in Bangalore is IT engineer.
Correct. No, those generalizations are
Right?
there.
Because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
only
yeah.
meet IT engineers in the US,
Correct.
you think everybody in India is IT engineer.
Correct.
It's like you only see US gold medalists, you think everybody in the US is fit and
Yeah. And there's a lot of money pumped into sports and advertising and athletes. So you think that there is a
And
there
they
is a
ins-
system.
Yeah, they started working on the system very early on, right? But even obesity, like you said, is a huge problem in the US.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So the model, I think the Norway one you referred to is a good model. Any model, I think we have to go back to basic. These are kids. Kids develop in a certain way. And education is a good model to use. Think about math. All of us learned algebra and trigonometry and geometry. Why did we not only learn algebra?
Yeah.
You could have done a PhD in algebra only, no?
Yeah.
Why did we learn all three? Why did we learn biology and history and civics and geography? Why did we not only learn biology? Because there's a broader, and that's the way the development happens of a kid. From a child's perspective, the development, in fact, there's higher risk of injuries if you play the same sport from early age. There's the issue of burnout, issue of pressure, and so on. So there's whole issue of early specialization, late specialization, and all that. But fundamentally, you need to let the kids play to have fun. Kids play to have fun. Adults play for outcomes. And that lens of adults that has come onto kids' play has ruined that whole space.
Interesting.
Right? Until that lens goes back to kids playing for fun and adults letting the kids play for fun. And that, I think, is the problem with adults. Adults are just grown-up kids. All of us are just grown-up kids. We just forgotten.
Correct.
Right? But fun is seen as something which is superfluous. Like, what do you mean fun?
Structured.
Right?
Very structured.
Yeah. I'm a serious professional. What do you mean fun? Right? But the magic moments are fun.
Yeah.
There is this larger social context around this.
No, and somehow
Yeah, and I
having,
think it is a social, it's
It
a
is.
culture thing, right?
having fun is wrong for us, right? If like
Yeah.
you need to be productive, you need to be learning something.
No, also
I mean,
it's
so
not
many diving.
financially rewarding, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
can't secure your future by having fun is the narrative that,
But I feel the Gen Zs are changing that,
Yes.
right?
They
Oh,
are.
yeah.
And I think it's the millennials and all of many of us who are like also
Stuck
stuck
in the
in
middle
that
zone.
middle where
Yeah,
like
yeah.
No,
you
so
feel
many-
guilty if you're actually having fun.
Yeah.
So many of her dive trips are very intense, right?
Yeah,
But
as
for
in,
every client, like she has to kind of make that speech that I'm going for this, because
Yeah.
otherwise, like, oh, it's a holiday,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
for fun, like, you know.
So we had an
and it
advisor.
is fun, and that's the
Yeah.
funny.
But that's your purpose,
Yeah.
passion.
Yeah.
You
Maybe the
figured
issue
that
is how do you
out.
define fun?
Yeah.
We had an advisor.
Yeah.
It's nice you are defining fun. He said fun happens when three things happen. One, you're fully involved in the activity. Two, you're stressed slightly beyond your limits. Slightly, not too much. Too much is anxiety, too little boredom. And you're connected to the people you're doing it with. You could be doing a rough trek, a tough dive, a bad project, but you're having fun. You're not
That
laughing.
explains my crochet also. I have fun.
Exactly. Exactly, and that is fun. Fun is not kids running and
Yeah.
kids running and
Yeah,
singing
yeah,
around.
yeah.
Fun is when they're fully involved, they're
Correct,
engaged.
correct.
So I think the way to look at fun needs
It's
a
that whole
interrogation as
body
well.
engagement. It's that, yeah.
And even when you see young kids who pick up sport and start doing well, it is a lot of sacrifice, right? You're actually waking up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Your other
Yeah.
peers are sleeping.
Correct.
You are not eating all the food that they're eating. You're sacrificing in every possible way.
Yeah.
But they're doing it because they have found a fun element in it.
Correct.
It is not about competition that
Yeah.
time. It's not about anything else.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I love going there
Yeah.
and meeting everyone.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as that,
Correct,
right?
correct.
But giving that opportunity for more and more children to feel that and at least know,
Yeah.
I think that is missing.
So there is this notion that for some things adults need to lead. Maybe your religion, your values, the way you talk to people at home, the way you treat guests at home, and so on and so forth. Right? Adults lead, kids follow. Some things kids lead, adults have to support. Sport and play is one of those. We've got that wrong across the world. And you started the question with what should we copy?
Yeah.
Right? We need to forget copy. We need to do a system where our kids have fun. Now, each one of us can figure out how our kids will have fun. We don't need to copy from Norway.
Yeah.
But they definitely is a good model. Kids are kids globally.
Correct.
They're not different.
Yeah.
It's just a question of how do you enable the environment.
Correct. No, and somehow we always fall, that population story, we use it whichever way is convenient, right? So why don't we have Olympic athlete? We have 1.4 billion.
Yeah.
But we can't copy Norway? They have hardly any children. We have millions and
Exactly. And over
millions.
there, what you're putting in place will happen. Over
Correct.
here, the coach who's first taught that kid how to play was not letting them go to the next coach who's going to take them to the next level. Right? So there are multiple challenges at multiple levels for that pathway, because the minute this first coach lets go,
The credit
it's
will
never
not
their
come.
student,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So how do you build a system? And in fact, now they've started doing that with a couple of athletes, and many athletes, we do athlete education workshops for them to say, don't forget where you came from.
Yeah.
Right? The whole gratitude piece, you would have never fallen in love with this sport if
But
that
for-
coach
Correct.
didn't teach you. So a lot of them are actually also giving their prize money to their first coaches. But it's very personal. It's very based on that individual's values, right?
You should pick up that athlete social responsibility idea.
I know. We
I think
should
we
talk
should,
about that. Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting concept.
We'll come
Sounds
to that.
like.
But before that, I think to your point, and since you mentioned Norway and India and so on, I think the question is how do you define success? Let's take two scenarios, right? We are successful, we are the highest medal winning in 2036 Olympics hosted in India, and we don't have place for kids to play near my house. And I have an obese population, diabetic population.
Yeah.
Is that success?
I mean, at that
Or-
point, I'm sure it'll feel like it
Right.
for those few months, but I hear you.
Right?
Yeah.
What is success? Or I have a generation of healthy and fit kids, and maybe we are not doing well in the Olympics. What Norway is showing that if you take this call, over time this will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are in a hurry.
In a hurry.
When you're in a hurry, you have to decide then. Where do you want to put your resources? I also have a view on where should the money for stadiums go? Should it go to stadiums? My kid can't walk outside my house to go to a
There's no footpath.
playground.
Yeah.
Why is that not getting fixed? Why do I have a new stadium here? What should I be asking for? It's my taxes. How much of pride do I pay for, and how much do tell my kid, by the way, you don't have place to play
Yeah.
because you know what?
Yeah. No, and also the whole experience of going into a stadium and watching a match, right? When we don't think about our fans and we don't
No,
think
no,
about
no, nothing.
basic stuff, but you want 30,000 people to show up
Correct.
without anything.
When those 30,000 try to leave that stadium,
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
rocks and stones and pebbles.
See, I
And
think from a solution point, in my mind, education solves that problem. That's the bet I have made, and to touch wood, to some extent, it's working out. At scale, you don't need to have a new ground. The school already has a ground. You don't have more space. The school already PE period. You don't have to have safety issue. It's all covered. Similarly, we need another thing, whether it's health or something else, where you can engage this at scale in the education budget
yeah,
while the sports thing is happening.
yeah,
Today, it's becoming a zero-sum game. It's like this or this. We have to find other value sources. How did IT industry, we're in Bangalore, how did IT industry create jobs? Because there was value for the US clients to outsource at a certain cost, which was good job for us. And that somebody was paying for me to get jobs at scale. I was in Wipro in 1998. I remember Wipro had 5,000 people that time. The ET front page story, Mr. Raghavan was the reporter, said, how will we ever become $1 billion industry? Industry, forget company. Unless we do software products. Wipro has 5,000 people. To become $1 billion, they need 100,000 employees. How will that ever happen? That was the, it was a rhetorical question. Today we have friends of mine who are hiring more than 100,000 people.
correct.
So if the economic structure
Yeah.
works, the employment will get generated at scale. That economic structure needs to happen.
Got it. No, because we're like for the Olympics, it's important, right? We want to see those medals, and if we earn them, then what happens is everyone says, "Oh, now this will bring a new generation of athletes, and this will happen, that will happen." But then nobody's following through on that.
Yeah, but I think the reason of Olympics, and I think it's also important to understand why we went after something like that, is because we're a nation of jugaad. Everything is shortcuts. Sport and art and certain, areas of excellence that you talk about need a process system, and there are no shortcuts. If it is 4 a.m., it is 4 a.m. If it means you cannot do this, you cannot do this. If it means show up 4 times for practice, go for your training,
Yeah.
and you will see that on the result on the field. So I think for us, the organization also exists because of that pursuit of excellence. And by creating few role models, somebody who was studying with me actually makes it through that pursuit. Suddenly I feel, hey, even I can do it. Right? It's also like Roger Bannister and the
Correct.
the
4-minute
right?
mile, yeah.
So if I don't know it's possible, I can't do. But it can't be only this or only this, like you're saying. It has to be connected to each other. It's like the US model. You have college sports, which is very big, right? And today, if you win at an NCAA game, you're probably going to be an Olympic champion.
Correct.
But where is our university games here today? 10th standard, 12th standard, please go and study. Right? You start choosing what you want to do.
Yeah.
But I think I have, with the athletes we work with, enough data to say all those who played sport actually aced their exams because they got only that much time to study. And that's how you work.
Yeah.
So I think showing the benefit of this and that pursuit is worth it is why probably an organization works, because we are not claiming we'll get you medals. We always say you might give all this money and sorry, we will not be able to get you a medal, which is why we don't talk the medal language at all. Yes, it is an important success metrics, but that's it. So I think that creating an ecosystem of excellence, nurturing champions, saying that if you have the opportunity and the talent to excel, it's worth it.
And how do you all make those decisions? Like, which athlete or that you invest in or that you choose? I was listening to Gopi Chand at a coaching conference, because now he's a coach, and so he was invited, that everyone has talent, but we're looking for that child with the attitude and the desire and the love for that sport, and who will come at 4 a.m. And
That's what I'm saying. So it is about doing it every single day, right? You just have to show up. And enough reports, research says that the person who's been more disciplined actually wins rather than somebody who's supremely talented. Because when you're supremely talented, you may even take it for granted.
Yeah.
Right? We always hear that person, if they had
Correct.
played,
Correct.
they would have really made it.
Yeah.
You know, humbly the kids.
I was just going to say, right? These are
Exactly.
the stories that
Yeah.
we offer, but they're
Yeah,
so true,
something
right?
like,
Like it's
yeah.
Kohli's discipline or it's
Yeah.
Novak's discipline.
Absolutely.
And there are more talented probably.
Everyone,
but,
and you see that, right? And you say rural India kids, how did they do it? They've come out of that situation. They've somehow made it and said, you know what, this is my way to. And some brilliant, set of that mind is different. So that pursuit for anything which is excellence, right, which you repeatedly do and just become the best version of yourself, I think for us that is very exciting.
How do you see schools with sports programs or sports schools and schools that focus on using the 10 years that the child is there to then sort of define a career or a path for them? While, of course, this is still the prerogative of the elite, perhaps, but does that in any way help, or is there some gap that you perceive in how we are building?
Yes.
Yes.
So, first of all, it's not only the elite. In fact, the larger size schools are all relatively less privileged kids who show up. And that's the model that's been there for a long time. Sai hostel and all that. All kids who are good in sport, and then you get. I think I'm trying to frame this correctly. I think from a structure perspective, the question to ask is, at what point can you take that bet that your child will make it in sport?
yeah.
Right? And Gopi has gone on record to say it's only rich kids should play, and because it's a risk, it's a high risk career. One is injury and so on. Other is the environment. When you are there, the world's best ever could show up, and you don't have,
Correct.
and many other things that could go wrong and so on. Right? So it is a high risk, unlike any other career. It's one moment of truth, and
And your shelf life also is
Yeah.
only
yes,
so
so
many
there
years.
is a so it is definitely for the privilege from a luck point of view or from a safety net point of view is the way I would see it. The sports school pieces I think are useful because they are presenting a framework where you are able to coexist sports and education.
Yeah.
In my mind, the scalable model, I think calling it a sports school tends to kind of take away the value. What I mean that is, every school should be a sports school.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it becomes like sports quota.
Huh.
We're all sports quota.
Right?
Right? Then you're like, look, Tony, this one's a sports quota.
And that's been the design. The education system was designed to have sport. Every school has a sports school. PE is mandatory. It's not getting implemented, so we're not thinking of some other solution there.
Interesting.
And you pay more for that and so on, right? So that is one, I think, but structurally, like, how do you integrate into the existing system and do it at scale? I think the choice is, do you want to make islands of excellence? Or do you want to do it at scale? If you want to do it at scale, you have to embrace the smelly gorilla called the education system. There's no other way. You can't create retail facilities. How many stadiums will you create privately? How many grounds will you have? How many pieces of land will you rent on? How much capex will you do? It's just not possible.
Yeah.
Schools are already there. They already have space. They already have time. They already have some space, facilities and teachers. So that's the way I think.
Start using
That's
it,
the larger. That's the only scalable model I see today.
I mean, I actually do some work with a recently opened IB school called the School of Raya. It's a year old, but the founder's vision was all about movement and flow. So Raya actually means flow. And it's the first school in the country that has a skateboarding park. It has a sport climbing wall. It has an Olympic-sized pool, this, that, everything. So now I'm like, okay, for these kids, it's great. But how do we open it out for everybody else to come and use this facility? Then it's a really valuable piece of...
That whole neighborhood then
whole neighborhood
prospers.
then
Yeah.
gets the benefit of world-class facility, training, coaching, all of that. And the kids have to play all the sports. So in 1 year, they've been exposed to about 18 sports. Right? So where I think none of us grew up with that many sports.
I can't
Right?
think of
And
18
I'd love to, invite all of you to the school because we're
I'd love to
really
get admission there if I was a kid.
need to. Same, kids use the skateboard and go to class and stuff. So it's really cool, right? And so we're trying this whole format where, because education today is so different 10 years later, none of what they're studying is going to be relevant.
Correct.
So how do they actually prosper in the real world? So it's all about innovation, strategy, exciting outdoor stuff, but doing it in a manner where kids feel free and that flow is
Not
there.
imposed on them.
Yeah.
as
I
such,
think the way to frame it, I would use the strategy. The strategy is a balanced education with sports exposure.
Yeah.
Serendipity is one of you is a genius and you will
Correct.
get
Correct.
picked.
That.
When
But for that
strategy
to happen, the
becomes a
conditions
high
have to
risk game,
exist.
it's a very risky game to play. Right? So you play multiple sports, you're exposed, do all that. Suddenly you find you're getting selected for college team, school team. Suddenly you find you reach the state level. Suddenly you say, oh, interesting. And then you have a choice to make
Correct.
as to do you want to pursue it or not pursue it.
Correct.
And I just want to spend a small detour on this whole education and sports thing. I think there is this narrative that education and sports are like opposite. If you play, your acads will suffer. If you are studying, you can't play sport. Now, I had a personal humbling experience on this. I was not at her level, but I was selected for the badminton team.
My level. Please, we're talking about Olympics and Paralympics. My level.
हम दोनों का level
अच्छा,
में.
okay.
Relative grading. I'm used to relative grading.
Done.
8th, 9th standard got selected for the state team in badminton in Maharashtra and all that. And I thought I was the school dude, but I knew I was not good enough. At that time, only Prakash sir was there. My dad said, we're from a lower middle class family, we didn't have money. Dad said, Khelna hai, if you want to play, at least play tennis or golf. You'll make some money. That time only Prakash sir was there. Anyway, so I realized this is not for me, and I kind of switched and got into academics and studied a bit. So I got into IIT Bombay, and I thought I was a school dude who's cleared JEE and got selected at a certain level for badminton. And I walked in, I could not make it to the IIT Bombay badminton team. There were 8 other people who were better than me in badminton, and their JEE ranks were also better than me. So it was like a humbling experience ultimately. Okay, there was by the way, Mauritius Olympic player who showed up in 3rd year.
Really? Wow.
He came and smashed everybody. So at that level, you are able to combine academics and sports. So anybody who says not possible, I don't buy it, and I've seen it myself. The problem is you want to play and party and this, and then you want a good score. No, that everything can't happen.
Sacrifice at multiple levels. Yeah.
No, but in a way, finally, in organizations, we are looking for these skills, right? We are rewarding discipline, we are rewarding the ability to put your head down and get the work done, work in teams, and deal with ambiguity,
Ownership,
crisis,
No, I'll tell you what the issue
failure.
is. I'll tell you what the issue is. You need to help come out with a way to signal these qualities. See, the problem is at a hiring time, you don't know how to signal, how to get it.
Yeah.
Only after I hired, I'm figuring out you're a good team player.
Correct.
Now, if you played, can I use a way to say, okay, you played this sport, therefore these qualities. Today, the problem is the corporate world is not appreciating this quality. Right? It's only used as a last filter. Everybody is equal. Okay, you played.
I mean, in any form also, it's at the bottom, right? Like what?
Yeah.
It's like hobbies,
It
extracurriculars.
comes
what
under
else?
hobbies. You're right.
We need to
Which is
find a way to.
endless.
If we speak so much about how important it is, it has to show up at the top, no?
Yeah.
It can't be at the last.
I should be able to say that 5 hours a day I spent
Yes.
on
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
Yeah. Like today, the number of people doing marathons and triathlons, along with their work, should be definitely rewarded.
Correct.
They are the
by
ambassadors of that company.
right,
Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
doing a full, I mean, it's not even 9 to 5, we all know it's a longer
Correct,
day,
much longer.
with that family and being able to do a marathon training is not
Correct.
easy. And look at the numbers.
Huge numbers, which means that you're looking at your diet, your sleep,
You're
so many
semi-professional.
things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You're
yeah.
managing all of those
Yeah.
markers and then getting ready for that one event and multiple
So
events.
that's the industry that's also doing a lot of consumption. The participative industry.
Yeah.
Running is a good example. Because every person is running, they are all spending on nutrition, on strength and conditioning, on injury management. Injury management is a big one.
Yeah.
In fact, I have a friend.
Physios and
They are like, whenever this new gym shows up, especially some of these new, I don't want to use
Chains
words,
and all that,
new styles.
Yeah.
He said, I know I'll get business now.
yeah.
All these people are going to get
I mean,
injured and show
having
up.
been customers of
No,
some
and also
of
these are not children and younger parents.
Correct.
These are people who can afford their own bills.
Correct.
Right? So the market is huge.
Yeah.
Today, and there are 1,100 timed runs in the country today.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or probably a little more also now. So imagine it's probably happening many are happening every single day.
Correct.
That's a good point. In fact, I know one company that started out as a motion analysis for kids and has pivoted to physiotherapy and posture for adults.
Oh yeah. Because I can pay for that service. No?
Correct,
With
correct.
kids,
You need
you're
the
like,
paying
"Abhi
customer."
karna hai,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to do it.
Because then you have to convince the parent also, right?
No, and the parent also will feel like anyway, and with a young child, their body is growing all the time.
Correct.
Like sometimes
Yeah,
you pick
correct.
up 13-year-olds at 15, the,
Yeah,
the one who was shooting the best scores can't even, the rifle's changed, the height is changed, everything's changed. So you thought 13-year-old is good. So it just challenges you every
Yeah.
single year, especially with younger kids. Body types are very different.
Which brings that the other animal in the ecosystem, that parent who is really, I don't know, I always will assume the intent is good. But there is a challenge, right? That either they're pushing too much or they don't believe this is a serious career. What does the parent of today do if a child has some level of interest or talent?
maybe you should answer. I have a separate anecdote to narrate. But
Okay.
after yours.
Then we will come to you.
So I think I've seen a whole range of parents. Usually when they're from, lower middle class and really just about making ends meet, they see sport as a safe place for my child. They're in a sports authority of India. They're in a hostel. Unko khana mil raha hai.
Yeah.
They're safe.
They're taken care of.
They're taken care of. They get food 3 times. It's very different.
Better than home.
And they will never get into kya training hai, kya. I've not seen that at all. They're like, oh, safe hai.
Correct.
Then you come to the, the
next
middle
level,
class family where even putting aside 6 to 8 lakhs or 10 lakhs, which you need for a child today, to be able to train, and if they're a badminton player or a tennis player or any sport actually, you need 8 to 10 lakhs bare minimum. If they're at a
That is 8 to 10 lakhs
under
a year.
14, under 16 level, you'll need that much money, which is a lot of money,
Which is
right?
a
Even with 2 incomes to park
Correct,
aside
correct.
that money. So over there is involvement, but there is also faith in the coach and in the thing. But there's also this whole Google coaching that happens today where they're saying, why are you making them do this? I saw, and now Instagram, not even Google, right?
And then
Instagram is telling me.
ChatGPT told me that.
Correct. So then the coach also is pissed off saying, what the hell? Then you have the very elite, I feel today, who's saying, hey, you know what? There's nothing happening here in India. I'll just send them abroad. And that's a ridiculous amount of money, but there are hundreds of kids doing that today. So it really depends where you sit. And from my experience, parents are the most important and critical plug in that ecosystem. Because if not for that parent, that child would have probably never come, unless it's an uncle or somebody or aunt who's brought them to sport. But they are important, but I don't think we have actually spoken to them enough and shared what is the role of a parent. So Paddy Upton, who is one of,
I've read his book. And
so Paddy keeps saying the two biggest champions are champions. You fix the coach and the parent, everything else will solve. Whether you do anything or not, it's fine. So he is always like, you get parents in the room and you get coaches in the room. You see how the child does well, because half the time the child is like, I've lost. Oh shit! I have to go meet the
and
coach.
face them.
I have to face my, dad or mom, and that's it. It changes. So my love for the sport changes based on these two very critical relationships.
Yeah.
Important, but I think again it's education, awareness. How much can you work with these two stakeholders, and you can't do it without them.
Yeah.
We can be giving money, but at the end of the day, the parent has to take the child. Somebody has to be there, especially minors.
Correct.
So I mean, I've seen a whole range in the last 13 years, all kinds.
But I think there's some bit of, there's always this statement that finally only 11 make the team. Because cricket, when you're talking, only 11 kids will make it. And so many are kind of investing their time and energy, and hence parents also. But today that has opened up, right? Like, you don't have to make the India team. You can still enjoy your sport, play it at a professional level, be in the leagues. Has that changed? Or
So let's just step back for a minute. think from a parent, I'm assuming the question is from a parent's perspective,
Correct,
right?
from a parent.
So there was this interesting podcast where on three comedians were talking. Zakir Khan, Amit Trivedi, I forgot his other name, Amit Tandon,
Amit Tandon,
and
huh.
one more guy. They were sitting and chatting like this and talking about that. And one of the guys was a new guy. And they had all this whole thing of when did you come out of the closet type? When did you tell your parents that you are a comedian? Okay. And this new kid is just kind of saying, I used to go quietly and go do shows. Then first time I got some 10,000 rupees I showed and all that. So very interesting. So Amit Tandon says, why don't parents support their kids' passion? So Zakir Khan said something which I thought was very nice. He said in Hindi, he said, he said, the parents, I'll say it in Hindi, I'll translate if required. He said, parents को आपके बच्चों के passion से problem नहीं है. Parent बस बच्चे को गरीब नहीं देखना चाहते. Parents don't have a problem with the kid's passion. Parents don't want to see the child poor. When you frame it that way, suddenly everything falls in place. That the problem, take your point. Instead of 11, there are now, let's say, 8 into 12, 100 spots.
Players,
Fine, 100. How many are competing?
Correct.
So the denominator is so big,
Correct.
you're in third decimal probabilities.
Yeah.
So what is not getting addressed enough is the notion of risk. It's one thing, see what's happening is we are all seeing, all as in, the narrative is being seen from we should have more kids in sport, India should win more medals. But when it gets personal for me, I have to tell my child, support or not support.
Yeah.
10 years later, a child could turn around and ask you, I was a child, I wanted to play, you were the adult, no? Why did you do this?
Yeah.
When you don't have a safety net. Now, if you have your own business, your kid can join, whatever is a different situation, right? Now, imagine, and I have friends who were national level players when I was growing up. Their parents did not let them play. They held the grudge for 25, 30 years. They then went to IT industry, did very well and all that.
But that'll always
Their kids start now playing, and over a beer we spoke, and I told him, you should be glad that your dad didn't let you play. Because if you had, you would be working for me today as a coach. You are in a VP, president in an IT company. So that's the reality of the social context. What I mean is that the risk is so high.
Yeah.
In the narratives, we are not addressing the parents' notion of risk. We are taking from our point of view. Look at how many opportunities. As a parent. Now take these three categories. If I have the money to send my kid to international, then there's no risk.
There's none. Yeah.
I'll say very good life skills and all that. I'll get the kid to do an Harvard MBA and done. I'm a middle class struggling. Now the risk is real.
Correct.
Do I save money for my child's education in a private college, or do I spend money on tennis? It's a very real zero-sum game.
Yeah, but I also feel that the awareness there is a concern, because today there are incredible scholarships available, college scholarships into the Ivy League schools and colleges. Who actually knows about it? Middle class parents don't have an idea. So sometimes there are people scouting, especially in squash and in table tennis. You have people who want to pick you up when you're playing in school, and just about in your college graduation, they'll pick you up for, to an Ivy League school. And you don't have to be great. Even if you're top 3 in the country or top 5 in the country, you're actually getting opportunities. But that's not there. So one of the things I was thinking about, that awareness is not there. And everyone cannot make it.
Correct.
Everyone cannot make it. I'm with you on that.
The risk still
So the
exists.
risk notion, I'm not saying that it can't be addressed.
Yeah, but there is
you have
again,
to address it correctly.
with your education piece only, it can be
Exactly.
addressed.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
till the time it's, you take Australia, you take UK, you take everyone, education and sport go hand in hand. You can't be the school champion and get 0 in maths. It doesn't work. You have to have your grades, and you have to.
Yeah.
So I think that concept of, so if you're an artist, why is this conversation not there in any other area? It only comes for sport. Right?
Yeah.
Even they are struggling, and they're only in sport. It's like sports quota, sports this, sports
So
that.
strategy has to be sports and education. Serendipity is sports playing career. Other careers are different, but playing.
Very, interestingly, this morning I was listening to a comedian, Josh Johnson. He's a US comedian. He's on the Daily Show and all. He's on a podcast with Michelle Obama. And she was asking him, how did you become? He said, sports is not being a stand-up
Comedy, yeah.
comic is not something your parents sit at the dining table and say, would you like to be a stand-up comedian?
Yeah.
Correct.
If you're tall, they may say, do you want to be a basketball player?
Correct.
But nobody says to you. So
Correct,
sometimes
correct.
it's also like
It's our cultural setup, right? Because
Everywhere
over here,
there's a-
nobody. I remember for many years when we used to be playing and traveling and all of that, they used to be like, so, oh, you're playing, so what next? And you're thinking, but I'm playing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there are professionals today who are like, I'm a professional badminton player. Okay, great, but what do you do in
yeah,
life? So it's like so bad,
I'm just
right?
deeply triggered by this.
So, for a long time, I used to get that question.
Every function you go to, right?
I
you're
used to
like,
get that question
oh
for a long
God, I
time.
have to answer all these people now.
I used to get the question for early years. So you get kids to play. Yeah, that's fine, but what do you do?
what do you do with them after that?
I mean, no. What do you do? I mean, how do you earn a living? What?
Oh, all
my
this
God,
and then
yeah.
how do you then?
Yeah, so it's you're still answering, right? Because he's also left a corporate career, come in. I
Correct.
also did that. So for many years, till you established something worthwhile, and what is establishing in success when it comes
Yeah.
on TV, when
Yeah,
they
yeah.
see it, and suddenly there are all these big brands
Yeah,
and people with
yeah.
you. Oh, you're doing great work. But earlier, nobody said that, right? When you were actually struggling,
Correct,
trying to figure out stuff.
Correct.
It's like, oh, nice idea. If it doesn't work, then what will you do?
No, and you're right, because risk drives all our decisions. Today, even regular formal education, the numbers to the US are reducing because you're not getting a job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're going to pay lakhs and lakhs and you're not getting a job, then, I don't know, be jobless here. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you at least have a home
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it is
and
like
I mean,
that.
you'll save like 1 crore or more.
Yeah,
Correct.
Start
today.
with.
Yeah.
Correct, there's capital for you. God, crazy. So, as you build this and scale this out, what needs to happen? Like, if you had like that one wish, what needs to change? Who needs to get involved?
At this point, our thesis is same: sports is a part of education. So the interrogation that happens for maths, performance, and participation, not just performance.
Participation.
Did you cover the syllabus? Did
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
right? And science and academic participation and performance has to happen for in-school PE and sports. Imagine 25 crore kids playing twice, thrice a week.
Yeah,
Just think about it.
Yeah,
You solved
changes,
it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right? You will create so much of entropy that something will come up. Something will come up.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not something you're going to see
Immediate.
tomorrow, right? You have to give it that gestation period and say that, okay, the next generation, this is our investment. And the consequences are so much larger. As it is, these kids have gone through this pandemic
Yeah.
sitting at homes and in front of screens. And if we don't let that body out now, it's going to have catastrophic effects.
Yeah.
What next for you? I don't know. But in terms of the way GoSports has enabled so many athletes, what have been like the highs and lows? Like what's
I think for us, we've enjoyed in the last 17 years to actually work with individual athletes, but we've also realized that now the government, the states, they all have started funding athletes. So if you're a good athlete at a state level today or a national level, you will get some sort of funding, right? So that risk piece that we're talking about, you actually get a stipend of 10,000 rupees if you're a Kalo India athlete. Takes care of your basic, nutrition and this and that. If you get into the top scheme, if there's something called as tag, over there you get 25,000 rupees a month, no bills, nothing required. Because you're a tag athlete, you get that. And if you're a tops athlete, which is the best in the country, you get 50,000 rupees a year, which is 6 lakhs of money for you to just manage your out of pocket expenses, right? And no other country does that. So that's from that perspective. But for us now, we feel that athletes will get taken care of. What we really need to build is academies and institutions and centers of excellence. Because if you look at any academy or any sport today, you'll see 1 or 2 athletes from that academy. There's no bench strength.
Yeah.
After that, we spoke about we're still speaking of Prakash sir and Gopi, but you had Pranoy, Shrikant,
Yeah,
Chirag,
yeah.
Satvik, Sindhu, Saina. I mean, that was one decade last year.
Correct.
But now we
Now
need
what's
all
next?
those
Yeah,
names, right?
yeah.
So we are now investing into academies through our CSR partners, and trying and building excellence through these ecosystem level projects. That's what we're doing at the foundation. For me personally, I think it's been incredible the experience that I have got actually building a firm, and pretty much been, my trustees have been really kind to allow me to run with it in that sense and grow this organization. But I've come to that stage again, what I felt in the bank, like, now that I have this, what else can I do?
Yeah.
And I'm still toying around the idea, but I think I'll be a lot more in the impact space. um, I can't say more
Sure,
right
sure,
now,
sure.
but
Yeah.
I think I just feel there's incredible work being done in pockets, but how do you bring it all together as a movement? And given that I've worked with multiple stakeholders and people and all of that, I feel, can we build something which just brings everyone together, and we're not talking about
Yeah.
elite and school,
Yeah.
and I think there is something there which, again, pathways. I've learned pathways, and I think if you can put pathways, then, but this is across sport and beyond is what I'm thinking about.
And a large part of our audience, or even my ecosystem, is that kind of mid-career individual, right? Who's like, oh God, life can't be just this forever. What else can I do? What more can I do? And I sense that most of them would have had that one sport that they really played well or enjoyed playing. Like, how does a mid-career person or somebody who's already done 15, 20 years of or more of corporate, how do you bring this back into your life?
Or how do you go there?
I
That
think you
was
now, I mean, a great concept is Sisters in Sweat, what
Yeah,
Shweta and Tanvi
yeah.
have done. I mean, 10,000 women. We all played basketball,
Just
but
playing.
from college to now, we never had a place to actually go. But now, twice a week, we can actually play basketball because there are some 10 other people who've signed up and we get to play.
Correct.
So I think that is a movement, and it's going to multiple cities around the country. So I think for women to play sport, and now they're also doing, both genders wherever it's possible on certain sports. So I think anybody who wants to do that, there is Sisters in Sweat. Pickleball, paddle, there's no dearth of all these things. And the number of people playing, all of this has gone up so high. I mean, I don't have any numbers as such to share in terms of stats, but I think that's what's happening. And also marathons, triathlons,
Running clubs and
outdoor
all of
stuff,
those. Yeah.
and it's also become a place for that. I can't be doing only this, right? It's a social interaction
Correct,
space where I'm also getting healthy, I'm getting fitter, and people care about, at least certain people now are very um, careful with what they eat and how they feel. And I think post COVID there is also that thing that we are
Become a
seeing
lot
so
more
many people
mindful.
just drop down, and it's scary, right?
Correct,
And these are people who've been really fit as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
So if you've not been on that path, then it can get even more scarier. So I think corporate mid life crisis, whichever stage you're in, sport has become an avenue for many, and I think communities also have become an avenue. So it really depends on where their interest is, and but there is enough and more
There's
happening.
enough happening. You just have to go out
Maybe, I
and
mean,
look.
just to add, one is this whole playing thing, which is how do you get active and so on. There are enough options.
But
today.
I'm also
The other is
interested
the
in how do you work with
So
the
I was going to come
system.
to that. So we get that's what a lot of good people who reach out to network saying what can we do and so on. The reality is most of the time we can't afford them. That's just
the
the
thing. Yeah.
reality. But what has happened though in many cases is people have done part-time gigs with us. And like part-time consulting or whatever, sometimes on weekends, sometimes whatever. Sometimes they have quit their job because of this mid crisis, midlife crisis and so on, and they're taking a break and they spend 1 or 2 days with us, and then as projects have kind of taken off, they have grown with us. So that's been one, and I would think this is true for the entire social sector.
Yeah, true.
It's not just
Yeah,
sports.
yeah,
While
yeah.
we're
Correct,
saying
correct.
sports, if you think about if that's your main folks who are listening to this or seeing this, across the social sector, there's a need for good people from the corporate world.
Yeah.
Maybe the starting point is not from here to here and then comp change.
Correct.
Maybe starting point is a slow dip your toes.
Yeah.
Like they say, meet for a coffee, have a date, and then kind of see
Yeah.
what you want to do. That I think that a lot of people, a lot of good organizations, social, for profit, not for profit, are trying to scale impact, and they're looking for people. So I think
There is
I think
opportunity.
somebody has to just put their
Yeah.
hand up, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
people would definitely be interested in conversation.
Yeah, and there's a lot of opportunities, and any
Yeah.
social sector organization needs good people, because otherwise you're only working with what you know and what you have. You don't get that external perspective at all. But today, I think even the conversations around salaries have changed drastically, right?
Yeah.
Because this is something we also push with our donors. They have some earlier it used to be like, I'm giving up everything and being there, and I'll carry one jute bag and I'll do all of that. I mean, we also have families and
Correct,
careers,
correct,
and we want to build it ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's, you can, like, moving from a bank to whatever, he also would have started off very differently, but at some point it has to
Yeah.
It has to make sense
it
to
can't
both sides.
match the
Yeah.
banking thing, because that's a choice you've taken.
Correct.
Right? So I always tell a lot of people that it's always a choice. You want that kind of money and that kind of thing, then stay in wherever you are, because and do projects or do volunteering or whatever. But if you really want to make that shift, you don't really always have to take that dip forever, but you may need to take it for the initial years, depending on where that organization is and whether they can afford you or not.
Yeah.
But there is incredible opportunity for so many different roles, because today CSR has enough and more money available. But who's going to run these projects?
Interesting.
Right? There are, I mean, just a small math is, just in the first 5 years of CSR being introduced, there's 50,000 crores a year available, which has to get spent. And there are only that many implementation organizations that can do the project for you. But how can you do the project without the people? So, we always keep saying that there is no project without our athlete managers, without our team, without everyone, because otherwise then you can just find an athlete and give them the money. There's no role for us.
Correct.
But the fact that we are doing the due diligence, we are finding the right athlete, we spend time, we understand, we do the goal setting. And in different foundations, again, there are different sets of things that they do. Or even social enterprises, right? The outcome or the output is impact. But I still need good people. I think Nitin Kamath wrote a beautiful post. He's been supporting, as Rain Matter in the social sector. And he's like, people in the impact space also live a life. Right? So, and Nitin's like, yeah, I didn't know that myself. I always thought, I always wondered
How they
these
manage.
people are so devoted and passionate and all of that. But you need voices like that to talk about it and normalize it. Because otherwise, every time there's a negotiation on that. But why so much? And like,
Again, you're going back to a non-issue rather than addressing what needs to be discussed.
correct.
Yeah.
So,
To your point, the other ways in which we've seen people do it, one is of course volunteering. A lot of companies are now funding through CSR volunteering efforts, and that's another way for people to get involved in sport or otherwise. We've had companies like KPMG have their volunteers come to our program. They get kids to play. That's another way of engaging. The third, I think, is more and more companies are looking at employee wellness, which means they need this organizational support of volunteer or enthusiasm for making that whole company active.
Correct.
So you could do it in your own
In
company.
your own company, you be the pickleball league.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing, and nowadays it's so
and
easy to
they're doing
execute.
it. Yeah.
They are, yeah.
So I think the intent is the only thing now.
Yeah.
Once you have the intent, as to what you want to do, there are enough people who will tell you how to do it. And you can choose to your level of involvement. You want to give up your job and do it. You want to do it on the weekend. You want to do it in the evening, in your own office.
Correct.
I don't think that's the issue anymore.
In fact, the Tatas do it really well, where they have a internal leaderboard, and all the runs are funded by, Tata Marathon is now even global,
Correct.
right? So over there, they do that as a employee well-being activity. It's not their CSR activity, right? And they actually are saying that the CEO and Chandra sir is actually running, and then his team is running a marathon and then
Yeah.
people below. So they realize that, hey, why can't we actually
We
do
have
this?
permission.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful example of that top down approach, but looking at it as employee well-being, because it's marketing funds and other funds, not
Correct.
CSR. But yeah, like Saumil rightly said, if you have the intent today, the opportunity is there.
I think you should think about this as an intersection of your current career and expertise and sport. Intersection. Moment you think purely sport and you're playing to your weakness then.
Yeah.
Which is fine as long as you are willing to play to your weakness
Very
and make it
true.
a strength over time.
Very true.
Or else, let's say you're an analytics guy. Then take analytics and come into a
Sports
project
that
which
way.
needs
Yeah.
analytics.
Yeah.
That's the best leverage of your time and expertise.
Correct.
Makes sense.
No, and today that way, one, like the permissions are much larger. Like you can have that other interest, other, you don't have to call it a hobby and pretend, and you can say I need time off to go run, and all of
we
that.
speak so much of transferable skills. They don't appear out of thin air. No, they have to come from somewhere.
Yeah, and also what you said, like you're given that permission to find those intersects and spend time on it and take it forward, and that's right.
I mean, the problem is such a big problem to be solved. I don't think, there's a dearth of. So if you're willing to solve a juicy problem, there's enough juicy problems to be solved. Are you willing to solve the juicy problem and get into the dirt and get your hands dirty is the question. Very often, sometimes where things don't work when we have conversations, that people want to do consulting and advisory.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have enough ideas. I don't need advice. If you're willing to do it, come do it. Otherwise, I have 20 ideas waiting in line already, right?
Yeah.
So that distinction that very often, sometimes that happens because in their current organization, they are at a level which is like so far abstract from getting
that
doing it themselves.
The risk of getting in too deep is like, okay, I'll tell you what I have and I'll.
Or I always say, if you want to do something in sport and you feel like you can't take time off, then at least like adopt a school or donate something to an athlete. Like there is enough opportunities to still feel connected.
Correct.
Because otherwise, you don't have to sit completely outside. There are enough and more ways, and any organization you speak to will find a way, to get in. We will
good
not,
people, we are not
someone
letting
who's going to say, I want to, okay, fine. We're not letting you go out of this conversation.
So to all the rich people listening, we are waiting for us.
To solve the school and education problem and for elite
All
athletes.
the links are in show notes. Please
support
QR
us.
code with UPI ID. I never thought this will be a money making podcast.
always use
कुछ है ना पैसा तब तक
If there's anything that you'd like to recommend, some show to watch, a book to read, some YouTube video to catch, on anything.
The book and the TED Talk by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, you must have seen.
Yeah.
Know it.
Even I've never said it out loud. I've always read it.
It's a fantastic, it's an 18-minute TED Talk, but a brilliant book. It's a fat book worth every page.
Okay.
It's a brilliant one.
So there are these on Netflix in the docu-series, there are a bunch of sports films that have captured very beautifully the role of sport in our society and what it does to that individual in the community. I've just blanked out.
There is a name, you're right. There's
Not
a
fight
series
word,
now.
That's a fighting word, fight word, not fight word.
No, I'm
No,
I
this
have
is a
forgotten. No, the swimmer
They've done like
from
almost a series.
in part of the war, which is she's moved.
I saw that movie.
The two girls.
The two girls.
sisters.
Yeah,
Like
two.
that's was been my recent watch, and I mean it hit me in a very different way.
It did.
Because like
Trying to remember the name.
why are you even playing sport? Actually, if you can get that name quickly,
It's
and
these two
edit
girls.
this. Two sisters, and they actually
From
moved.
Palestine or somewhere.
Yeah,
moved.
They swim across to.
The swimmers.
The swimmer.
Something swimming. The swimmers is something that I'll highly recommend, because I think it's the role of sport in society.
Yeah.
And we keep talking about society, but this was in war. What was the role of sport in war? And something I always go back to is even the quote of Nelson Mandela, right? That sport has the power to inspire the youth in ways that no governments and no leadership can, and it can bring people together. And I think this movie, the documentary series, and it's a true story of her. So I would highly recommend that.
Thank you so much. Lovely having you here today.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.